and we pretty much also like kind of interacted on fight night, on Twitter, and now it's like we really only interact in the weekend,
I
so
know.
we talk to each other here and there, via DM, but it's really like it's not like spread over the week, so it's kind of different, but it's cool, and on Sunday you're still fresh in the mind for what happened the day before, so
Yeah.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, like I say, we're testing out for the summer, see how it goes. Like so far, people seem to like this change, so we'll continue with that. So yeah, today will be a good show. Again, double podcast every Sunday. We do the first hour. We're going to recap the previous evening's event, which in this case UFC 276, and then after that, Marcel will be previewing UFC Vegas 58, Dos Anjos versus Fiziev. And I saw that one of the fights got canceled. We'll talk about that in the next podcast, though.
Yeah.
So let's start with UFC 276. Take a comment first with Steve. What's going on, man? What's up, fellas? Looking forward to today's show. As always, hey, Steve, we appreciate you being here, my friend. Have a smoke for us. Beercha the beer. What's up, Beercha? How's it going, man? We're doing good. I'm good. Marcel's doing good. I had a pretty good week, actually, Marcel, overall. I will tell you this, though, Marcel. I had a dream earlier did I talk about this? I had a dream earlier this week where I was at UFC 276, and then I woke up and I was back in my bed in Toronto, and I was like, fuck, like, I really wanted to be there. And I was talking to James Lynch, obviously a good friend of both of ours. He was there, and he did a great job, by the way, with his coverage. Like, he actually was working. A lot of these guys go there, Marcel, just to get the free ticket, which is sad. It's sad, but that's another discussion. But James messaged me, and he was telling me all about what's going on. He's like, dude, I saw Nick Kalikas and like Johnny the Greek and all these guys, and they were all asking about you. I'm like, fuck, like, I really wish I was there. So it's one of those things, Marcel. Like, I really wish I would have gone to this one, but it's tough with the baby at home. You know what I mean? To really get away. But it is what it is. Hopefully next year I'll be able to go to that one or UFC 300 in 2 years from now. But let's talk about UFC 276, Marcel. We're gonna get into it right now, guys.
Is Vancouver close to you?
Vancouver's, it's actually on the other side of the country.
Okay.
So it's like 3-hour plane ride or 4-hour plane. So it's not that close, actually, but it's still Canada. Okay, so let's get into UFC 276. Okay, Marcel, here's my honest thoughts. Like, on paper, this was the best card of the year. I don't know if it played out that way. I think it was an okay card. I got to be honest with you. I think UFC 275, which everyone said sucked on paper, was the best card of the year so far. I don't know. What do you think, man?
It's either that card or the card of what was that? What came after?
UFC Austin.
Yeah, that was amazing as well. Yeah. So, I think this card wasn't bad, but wasn't also great. I would give it a 7.5 or 7 out of 10. 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
I think that's more accurate for me too. Yeah. I'm not complaining. I mean, there were some good fights. Marcel, did I not say Barberina Lawler was going to be fight of the night? I called that shit. Yeah, that fight was fucking epic, dude. That was, to me, that was the high point, though. Or actually, no, sorry. It was Pereira and Strickland. Really. That was kind of the high point, those two fights. But we'll talk about the other fights. We're going to talk about everything, guys. Let's get this comment. Wani, I can't believe Pedro was that scared. We'll talk about him in a sec. Bircha says, I just want to share my unpopular opinion. I feel like Colby won. Honestly, Bircha, we don't have time to talk about that fight right now. We really have an hour, and then, we have the hour for the other one. But I'll just quickly, I thought he still won that fight. All right, let's get into this card, Marcel. We'll start with the main event. Marcel, as always, work our way down. Main event of the evening, Israel Adesanya defeats Jared Cannonier via unanimous decision. I had a 49-46, Marcel. I think it was the third round I gave to Cannonier. And is that what you had too? You had it 4-1?
Bro, I told you I was for real on Twitter. I didn't score that fight because the fight sucked.
Oh yes, that's right. It wasn't the most exciting fight. I know you actually messaged me and told me that. You said you were kind of like tired too.
Dude,
listen, it wasn't a good fight, man. It really wasn't.
I had to pee, man. I had to pee, and that was my focus. So
no, I totally understand. I was talking to one of my buddies back home, and he messaged me. He's like, "Dude, I'm falling asleep during this fight. Like, it really wasn't an exciting fight. It was more of like a sparring session." Listen, obviously Israel's good. I mean, he's the best guy in the division, but like, I don't know, Marcel. Like, he's just not doing for me lately. I don't know, Marcel. Like, this fight wasn't great. But again, it takes two to tango. I was more disappointed in Cannonier's performance, to be honest with you. Like, again, I gave him that third round, but like, Marcel, he loses the first 2 rounds clearly. Why not change up your strategy? He's going to push the guy against the fence. Why not shoot for commit to that takedown, or just go for broke? Like, I don't get it. The guy's 38 years old, Marcel. He's not going to fight for the belt again, most likely, okay? This is his only chance to win. It's his only chance in his life. And he just didn't go for broke in the fight. I just don't get it, Marcel. I don't understand it. Like, I get it. You're in there, the cage. You don't want to get hurt against the guy. Like, Israel can knock you out. But, like, at this point, I think he was better off getting knocked out and at least trying for it, Marcel, than just losing a decision. Because it just felt like he was okay with losing the decision, Marcel. And listen, obviously Israel's really good, guys, but this just wasn't a great fight. Honestly, his walkout was probably better than the actual fight. I know you didn't, I'm not a WWE fan, but I used to watch it 20 years ago. So 3, that was actually kind of cool. But overall, Marcel, this just wasn't a great fight, and I feel like we've said this about a few of Adesanya's fights in the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, he is a great fighter, guys. There's no doubt about it. He's getting the job done. He's winning these fights. But I think Volk is the best pound for pound, or Usman, not Israel. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, he's right at the top. He's got all these title fight wins now. It's impressive, but I don't know, Marcel. This fight just didn't do for me. Just give me your thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, man. The highlight for most people probably was his walkout song, or how we did it. Yeah. Guys, I don't give a fuck about that kind of shit. My whole timeline was like getting a stiffy or whatever. I really don't care. I want to see a good fight. We all knew Israel was likely going to beat Jared Cannonier. Let's be honest.
Yep.
But it was a complete boredom. Israel kept him at distance, like he always does, and actually point fight against him. Cannonier tried to get closer but couldn't do it, and he didn't want to take an extra risk, in my opinion. So we got a really boring fight. I even heard that after the third round, some people in the T-Mobile Arena left. It just sucked. Let's be honest. It just sucked. It was a typical fight between a guy who knew he did enough to win the fight against a guy who couldn't do better for some reason, Volk should have been the main event from the start. I think more people were intrigued as well with that third fight against Max than this fight. And I know the UFC loves to put the higher weight classes on the main event, but we should stop doing that, man, in my opinion, just honest, the fight sucked. I say it again, it sucked. I'm happy it was over. I remember the title fight starting at like 6:10 a.m. over here, and I was done at 7:45, 7:50. So, I mean, and that Volk against Max fight, amazing to watch, but that second fight, or the last fight, the main event, get that off my screen. I don't want to see it ever again. I wanted to take a pee. I was done with it. Sorry, guys. I'm so hard on this but I was so done with it. It was just not fun to watch. And you were like, there was not a moment in that fight I was like, oh, Cannonier maybe can do something to change the fight. You saw after 1.5 round, this was going to be a decision for Adesanya likely.
Yep.
So yeah, totally not invested in this one, to be very honest.
I just don't get it from Cannonier's point of view. Like, again, you're 38 years old. You're never going to fight for the belt again, probably, when Adesanya, especially with Adesanya there, and you don't go for broke. Like, I would have had more respect for him to get knocked out and just lie on the canvas after. But he just was content with losing the decision, guys. The fight didn't do for me. And again, for Adesanya, I don't blame Adesanya for fighting the way he does. Again, Marcel, it takes two to tango. It's on the challenger too. It's on both the guys. The fight was boring though, man. I'm with you. I mean, you're pretty critical of it. I completely understand. Like, as soon as it was over, I turned it off. I didn't even listen to what he had to say. I just turned the TV off and I went to bed. It was just one of those things.
Also, but if you come in the arena with the urn, with Jared on the urn, I expect something, and I don't expect somebody to point fight. You know what I mean? He is like, he said the whole week, I want to show off. I don't care about title fights and that I want to show off. You didn't show off. You just point fight somebody. And we all know you're probably the best technical striker in the division, I know Pereira is now coming, but still he's the most technical striker in the division, in my opinion. We know that. So for me, the only thing you showed is like you're the champion and you kept him a distance and you won, like everybody expected, but nothing extra. Yeah. It was just like, can we please go to the co-main event?
Yeah, we will. Let me just get some comments though, because people were talking about it. Do you guys feel like Izzy's on the same level he was a couple of years ago? No. I think he reached his high point a couple of years ago. Like, he's just doing what he has to do to win now. I don't blame him. Like, I mean, he's the champ, right? He doesn't need to take risks. I also think since the Jan Blachowicz fight last year, Marcel, like, he's playing it more safe. Again, I don't blame him. It's on the challenger too, guys. Like, for me, this one, I'm more on Cannonier. You're like more critical of Adesanya's performance. Marcel, I'm more critical of Cannonier's performance. You know what I mean?
Why that is, man. If you talk a big game, and you act like you're going to show something that the world has never seen, and you showed this, We saw that so many times from Adesanya. And then don't say it's not impressive the way he went to the top and the way he's having a 5th title defense back-to-back. That's good, But if you act like you're something special, you're like the 6th walk wonder or whatever, you got to show it to me inside the octagon, and to the fans. You should show it to the fans. We're coming up for you. A lot of fans were there for him. The cheers he got during the whole week, and then you showed this. And from Cannonier, like, maybe, I no disrespect to Cannonier, his family and his teammates gave him a huge chance probably against Adesanya, but everybody else, I didn't saw a lot of people giving him a lot of chances, unless he knocked him out maybe in the 1st or 2nd round, But that's why I'm not hard on Cannonier, because I don't think he can really do better, He could maybe take more risk, but he is not really better, But Adesanya can do so much better, in my opinion, And he just didn't show it, and that's frustrating to me.
Here's some stats here. During his first 4 title fights, Adesanya won 3 bonuses. The last 4, Marcel, he hasn't won a bonus. He hasn't won a bonus in 2 years since he knocked out Costa. So, I mean, that says a lot of it right there. I mean, if he could get a finish, they would give him the bonus over anyone because they love the guy. Listen, he's obviously a great fighter. I just didn't like this fight, Get some more comments here about this fight. Crazy how Usman's become more exciting and Israel become boring. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of crazy, actually. Usman's really exciting now. Morning, guy. What's up? What's going on, man? Why didn't Dana keep the same energy he had for Woody with Adesanya? I don't know. I mean, he wasn't there last night. So someone told me he's like on a family vacation. It doesn't make sense. Why would he go on vacation right now? Honestly, Marcel, it's hard to like speculate, but like I'm like, okay, I figure he has COVID and didn't want to tell anyone. That's what I figured. You know what I mean?
That's possible. That's
what I figured. But like people are saying he's in Maine. Someone told me that he's in Maine right now, and someone else said he's got family business to take care of. Like it doesn't make sense. Very coy about it. You don't have the president of the UFC at the biggest event of the year. Like, why would he schedule his vacation for this card? It makes no sense.
No,
like, any fight night card he can go on, Marcel, for that week. And he does it for the biggest. Doesn't make sense. That's my guess. But I mean, speculating is not good. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
But if that's the case, it's not his fault if that happens. So let's go. Is he minus 550 non? I mean, it looked like it wasn't. I know one of the sports books had it minus 700 last night, and I thought it was a little high, but clearly wasn't. He should have been like minus 1,000 because he won really easily. Can't wait for Imavov to climb the ladder. He's one of the guys that could fight for the belt in a year or two, but I mean, I don't see it being easy either. He's good though. Cannonier, Strickland might still be 2 weights. We'll talk about Strickland in a few minutes. Extremely disappointing. Oh, here's a good comment. Hey Jack, what's up? Izzy said he's had an off night, seeming to be more frequent. Dude, I agree. I mean, people forget about that Yoel Romero fight. Like that was over 2 years ago now. That fight sucked. This fight wasn't good. I don't know. I mean, like some of his performances were good. Like the Vittori fight, honestly, I thought he looked pretty good in that fight, the second one. Like I was actually kind of impressed by him in that one. But the Whitaker fight, other than the knockdown, like I think in the first or second round, Marcel, that wasn't that impressive either, the last fight. So I don't know if he's slipping now or what, but he's not as dominant as he was a couple years ago. I mean, that's just a fact. Like, look at his record. You know what I mean, Marcel? He was knocking guys out left, right, and center. I don't know. Winning every round is more impressive than knocking someone out. I kind of agree, but the weight, like, I agree because if you look at the Volk fight, that was fucking impressive as hell, right? We'll talk about it in a second. But, like, Volk was pouring it on. Like, Israel didn't do much. You know, that's my problem with this fight.
Volk was trying to finish.
I believe he was. I don't think Israel was trying to finish. I think he was content with winning a decision.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, or can we move on to the next one, Marcel? I think it's time to move on.
I wanted to move on for a long time. So.
By the way, the Nate Diaz thing, yeah. So some guy got slapped by Nate Diaz.
I saw that.
I thought it was fake. Apparently, it's real though, because I was talking to James. He said that he heard the PR people talking to the guy about it after. So apparently, the guy was talking crap on Twitter. I don't know. I don't even know who that guy is.
I mean, slapped. He was one of the Nelk boys, and he got his mic slapped out of his hand, and his hat slapped out of his head. So
who is this guy? I don't even know who he is. Honestly,
I don't know, man. I don't know these Nelk boys. I don't care either, to be really honest. I don't know those guys. It's for the minors, probably very interesting. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the co-main event, Marcel. For you, it was the main event in your heart.
Yeah, I think for many people.
Alexander Volkanovski defeats Max Holloway. I mean, this is like the easiest fight to score in MMA history, by the way. Like, this is a clear 5-0. I can't believe one of the media outlets gave a round to Max. That's insane. How do you give even one round to Max? He got destroyed in this fight. Fight wasn't close, Marcel. It wasn't close. This was the most dominant of the 3 fights. Like, I was actually at the first one. That was pretty dominant, to be honest with you. The second one was let's be honest, it was controversial. That's why you kind of had to do this again. But Marcel, we don't need to see this fight ever again. And, I know that people still say Aldo is the best, but I'm starting to lean towards Volkanovski is the best featherweight, Marcel. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, he's so good. He's beaten Max 3 times. He has a win over Aldo. He has a win over Ortega. He has some really good wins on his resume. I think he is, it's either him or Usman right now. It's the best pound-for-pound fighter. But if you say it's Volk, I don't blame you because, honestly, Marcel, he's getting better. That's the crazy thing. And he's my age. He's born the same year as me, 1988. He's born 2 weeks after me. And, the guy really on paper, should probably be leaving his athletic prime, but he's getting better, Marcel. I think he's 1A. It's him or Usman is the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. He looked amazing in this fight. Max is fucking tough as hell. Marcel, again, he's absorbed over 2,000 significant strikes now in his career. Never been knocked down. The cut was bad. The fight could have been stopped, but the cut man did an amazing job. The cut man gave him not only just 1 more round, 3 more rounds, Marcel. That cut man did such a good job because that cut was brutal. So I was blown away by Volkanovski in this fight. Again, he was trying to finish the whole time. I really do think he was trying to finish. Unlike Israel, who was just point fighting, okay, I'll just take the decision. I think Volk wanted to finish Max, but Max is just way too tough. He's almost impossible to finish on the feet. You could submit him. He's been submitted by Poirier, but on the feet, Marcel, I don't know if anyone. Well, maybe going forward he could get knocked out because of all the damage, but I mean, this fight was just pure dominance and a pure masterclass. I know he didn't win a bonus, Marcel, but I think he kind of deserved a bonus for $50K for performance of the night on top of winning the fight. And I know they gave him an extra bonus last night. We'll talk about that after, but I would have given him a bonus too because I think this was 5 rounds of dominance. So give me your thoughts on the fight, man.
I would have 1,000% given him a bonus, man, because nobody does it like that against Max Holloway. Yeah. This was super, super impressive. 5 rounds dominance from Volkanovski. I even heard that he broke his hand in the first round. I don't know if that's really correct.
He did, I think. Yeah, he was at the. I just checked it out this morning. At the post-fight pressure, he had not a cast, but something wrapped a bandage on his hand, and he said he had broken his other hand, and then in the first Holloway fight, I believe he said. So he knew that he broke it again, but he still kept punching with it. I have so much respect for this guy. He was trying to finish the broken hand, basically, Marcel. I think he took some risks in this fight. He was in the pocket, going for it, Sorry, Marcel, continue. I was just blown away by his performance, honestly.
Yeah, it was amazing. I said on Twitter as well, this is in my opinion, one of the best showings in a title fight in the UFC history, man. I mean, if you can do this to Max Holloway like he did it, and he put an exclamation point on the rivalry, it was 2-0 already for him. Many people thought it was 1-1, but this fight completely showed that Volkanovski is this moment the best featherweight in the UFC.
Yep.
He just dismantled Max Holloway. I was really impressed with it. I think you said he might be the GOAT. For me, he needs more title defenses, but he's definitely on his way. He's super close to Aldo, in my opinion. And maybe I wouldn't even blame people if they put him above Aldo, because this is a monumental fight for him, in my opinion. Even the Max fans can't deny Volkanovski anymore, in my opinion. This is one of the best performances I've seen in a title fight. Like I said, I'm still blown away by what I saw. This was great, and in my opinion, he's pound for pound king, dude. And maybe you can put Usman at 1, but for me, Volkanovski, if you look at the opponents he faced and how he won, I'm just super impressed. I said it before the fight, and I say definitely after the fight. I think Volkanovski deserves a step up and to go to lightweight and fight for the vacant belt against Charles Oliveira. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's a vacant belt. That's right. Yeah. Marcel, honestly, if anyone deserves a chance to fight for a second belt, it's this guy.
For sure.
He's the guy. They gave Israel a chance after 2 title defenses, remember? And they were pushing him. This guy actually deserves it. He's destroying 100%. Everyone. And let's be honest, I know Josh Emmett honestly deserves a title shot, but is anyone giving Josh Emmett a chance in this fight if he fights Volk? No. He won't win that fight, Marcel. I'm sorry, but he won't. Doesn't have the head movement. Volk will pick him apart. Again, looking at the stats right now, Marcel, 5 straight fights, he's landed over 100 significant strikes. 199 significant strikes landed in this fight. It's very impressive. I just think the guy's incredible. There's so much to like about this guy, and and he has no weaknesses, Marcel. He's good everywhere. And again, he's getting better, which is just crazy to me, Marcel. He's getting better. So
yeah,
he's incredible. Let me get some comments, guys. There's a lot of comments here. What does Max do? That's a good question too, actually. He tried at 155 a few years ago, guys, against Poirier. He's not a 155er. He doesn't have the strength, I don't think, and the power in that division, Marcel. He's going to stay at 145. And if Volkanovski goes up to 155, Marcel, and wins the belt there, he might vacate this title, and then Max has another chance to maybe fight for the belt against, I don't know, Josh Emmett or someone.
Adam, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be upset if the UFC says you can go to lightweight, but you have to vacate featherweight. That would be stupid, you know?
I think they would let him win both belts first. And then because they that picture when he's got both of them on the top of the cage, and then they would, you know what I mean, Marcel?
I would understand that, but don't take his belt before going to lightweight. Yeah.
I'm with you. Max versus Conor, the rematch. I mean, maybe you could do that fight. Conor won the first fight decisively, just wrestled him, which was crazy. But I don't know, Conor. It seems like he's going to box Floyd Mayweather. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true, but that's the rumor. Max Volk punctuated the rivalry. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to see this fight again. Tried under 4.5 at plus 170. Dude, I mean, the cut man did an amazing job. Marcel, that cut was really bad, and that dude put that Q-tip in so deep and put that Vaseline in, Marcel, and stopped that cut. It was really impressive. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw like a Cage Warriors event, I think 4 weeks ago in San Diego in open air. There was also a guy who had the exact same cut like this over his eye. The fight got stopped, you know? Yeah. And this guy, the cut man, that's like an amazing job. They made the full 5 rounds. So, I mean, and that was a nasty cut. If Volkanovski hits that one more time, that can completely...
Oh, dude. And not only that, Marcel, but when he hit him and it busted open, Volk was like, oh, that's bad. That's a bad one. That's what he says to him. Volkanovski was talking shit in the cage. When has he ever did that? And I fucking loved it. And I'll say this too. We didn't talk about this because, you know, we don't do the podcast during the week now, but Max was kind of weird this week at the press conference, Marcel. He seemed off to me. I don't know what you thought. You were watching that stuff.
Yeah, I did. I was like, it was really weird because Max tried to get under Volkanovski's skin. And Volkanovski was like, dude, I know you. You're a good dude. I mean, this is unnecessary. This fight will sell for itself, you know? And at that moment, many people were like, oh, Max is on. And I was like, no, Max is actually trying to play mind games in Volkanovski, and Volkanovski doesn't care, you know? And I think Volkanovski will win this fight. I think you even thought he was going to finish him, and it would have been a possibility if they stopped it with a cut, you know? So, yeah, it was just dominance by Volkanovski. And like I said last week, it's like Max went like this, up, you know, but Volkanovski went like this, you know, even more up. So when they met the first time, they were like pretty much even, but Volkanovski had like the will to win more, in my opinion, you know. The second time, they were also more even, you know, but the third time right now, Max is stationary there, and Volkanovski went up, you know, and that's what you see in the third fight, that Volkanovski really became better. And Max, still an amazing fighter, would have been a champion if Volkanovski wasn't in this division, you know, but he really is on a certain level right now, and he's not getting any better, in my opinion. And that's no disrespect to Max because he's still world class, you know.
Hey, John, what's up? Yeah, he did break his hand, which is crazy. And then again, he fought so well after that. Sorry, guys, there's a lot of comments today. It's great. Really want my man Allen Allen. I mean, he's another guy that, but he's got to fight more often. He fights like once every year. Like he's got to be, exactly. He's got to be more active. Josh Emmett versus Yair. Yair's the other guy. We didn't mention him. I forgot to mention him. He's fighting in 2 weeks against Ortega. I think he has a chance to win that fight. He's an underdog right now, but I mean, I think that fight's pretty close. We'll talk about that fight in a few weeks. I haven't really thought about it like that deeply yet. See UFC doing that Pereira if he beats. Okay, I'll talk about that in a sec. We're going to get to that in a second, guys. What's going on, Joe? How's it going, man? All right, let's get to the next fight, Marcel. Alex Pereira, Marcel. I mean, I told you, Marcel, that Sean Strickland's not going to wrestle him. I told you. Like, he just doesn't wrestle. He's a great fighter. I love Sean Strickland, but the fight IQ sometimes, I mean, it's just lacking a little bit. Like, I don't know what happened to him, Marcel. Like, he just didn't even attempt a takedown on the best striker in the division. What was he thinking? Like, gets brutally knocked out. Now he's a meme, Marcel. I don't know if you saw that thing. It was like that picture of like Sean Strickland says Alex Pereira's striking fucking sucks. And after they posted that after he got knocked out. I think Pereira, like I've told you before, Marcel, I think he's the real deal. You know, last week we talked about the fight. He was a slight favorite. I was like, I don't know if I could take it, but by fight day yesterday, guys, he was plus 150, and I had to take a shot at him. So I did take a shot on Pereira here, Marcel, and I'm glad I did. I think the guy. Are you buying him now, Marcel? Are you on the hype train now? I mean, the guy's an amazing striker.
Striking wise, amazing. I have nothing to say about him. Still not tested on the ground, in my opinion. You know, and people will say, like, listen, man, the Pereira fans will say, but Michailidis took him down the first round, and Bruno Silva tried to. Listen, guys, Michailidis, no disrespect, isn't UFC material, in my opinion.
It's not in the UFC anymore.
and Bruno Silva, guy has 0 submission wins, almost never goes for. He's also a striker, pretty much, in my opinion. So for me, it's like, I didn't understand Sean Strickland's game plan. If I knew he wasn't gonna go for at least a takedown or trying to clinch and get down, I would have never picked him. I mean, what was the game plan here? I don't get it. I know disrespect to Strickland, I don't get it. But good for Pereira, and the UFC got what they wanted. I still think it's kind of unfair that you let somebody who is unranked fight a number 4 ranked guy. No, it's probably a good matchup for him if the guy keeps standing, knocks him out, and now you can give him a title shot. I understand also that Pereira isn't getting any younger, so they want to make this fight, of course. But man, I mean, on the other hand, I don't really have a problem with it because I think Pereira brings something new, to the game. And he brings a new challenge for Adesanya. And Adesanya will be more focused in this one, and more challenged because he lost twice in him with kickboxing. So he wants to make something right, I think. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, so the UFC couldn't lose here, like I said, Marcel. Like, either Strickland gets a title shot or Pereira. I mean, both the fights against Israel will sell, in my opinion. I still think Strickland's like not that far from a title shot. If he goes back in there and beats like Cannonier or something, Marcel, and then beats like Vittori or something, he can get another title shot. I think he's probably 2 wins, or he won't fight Vittori, they're friends, but you know what I mean? Like Whitaker. He gets 2 more wins, I think he's right back in there if Adesanya stays in this division. I'll say this, Marcel. I also think Bruno Silva's stock goes up a little bit because he actually went the distance with this guy when everyone else is getting knocked out by him. So I'll say that as well. And the other thing I'll say is it's all matchups, Marcel. We always talk about this. Every matchup's different. Israel and Pereira is striker for striker. Israel's not. You think Israel's going to start shooting takedowns? No. This is striker for striker, Marcel. So he has a chance. The odds came out, guys. It's 2-1. But I think this guy's a good chance to win the fight. Go ahead.
Israel is too proud to go for a takedown against Pereira. Believe me, he lost twice to him. He's not going to go for a takedown because he will see that as how do you say that? It's not losing to me, but it's losing to in his mind. I think for Adesanya if he has to go for a takedown against Pereira. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he wants to knock him out.
I agree. Just getting there's a lot of comments here as well. Seems like every time he was working against Lester. Oh, sorry, he's talking about Strickland here. Everyone's talking about Strickland's experience. It didn't mean crap. Well, I mean, apparently it didn't because he got destroyed. He should have been wrestling right from the get go. He should. I thought he even said like he's going to wrestle in this fight. He didn't even try a takedown. It's just weird. What's up, David? He thinks they shouldn't do double champs. I get what you're saying, man, but I just feel like if anyone deserves it, it's Volk. He's more deserving than like Connor was or Izzy. What's up, hype? Yeah, some of these streams they're good so far. This guy doesn't like Volk, apparently. I mean, Volk's amazing, man. I mean, I understand he's short, but he's still an incredible fighter. All right, let's get to the next fight here, Marcel. I mean,
listen, man. I never understand people who are shitting on small fighters. Listen, man. I'm almost like I'm 6'3" and I'm a fat fuck, but I respect smaller fighters. There's so much technique. You gotta respect it, man.
All right, let's get to the next fight of the night, Marcel. I mean, this fight to me, like, again, high point of the card, and the Pereira knockout. But I loved everything about this fight. Barberina knocks out Robbie Lawler. I mean, that's impressive as hell. Finishing Robbie Lawler. Few takeaways from the fight. First round was super close. It was basically Lawler's power versus Barberina's volume. I think it could have gone either way. I got to see the scorecards. Let me check what the judges said. I think 2 had it for Lawler, 1 for Barberina. Actually,
yeah,
that's what they had. Which is fine because again, power, damage. I get it. Second round was also close, Marcel. Lawler's power again, but eventually, Marcel, the volume broke him, and he just got overwhelmed with strikes against the fence. Barberina threw in this fight. He attempted over 300 significant strikes and landed basically 150 significant strikes in just 2 rounds. So he would have gotten over 200 in 3 rounds. The volume was insane. This is a huge win for this guy. I think he should have got another bonus. I think he should have got 2, performance and fight of the night, but whatever. I mean, they both got a fight of the night. I just loved everything about this fight. It was a fucking amazing fight. This is why I love MMA fights like this. Just a slugfest. 2 guys just stood and traded. No takedowns attempted, Marcel, between these 2 guys, which we didn't expect. I will say Robbie Lawler, age 40 now. I mean, clearly the chin is going a little bit, Marcel. I thought he still had a good chin, but it seems like it's going a little bit finally, which is kind of sad to see because he's been such a warrior, but eventually it was going to go. I don't think he's going to retire or anything because I think he looked pretty good in the fight, honestly. I think he was doing well in this fight, and then he just, whatever reason, just overwhelmed and got finished. But I think you picked Barberina, which was a great pick. So we kind of flip-flopped here, Marcel. I took Pereira and you took Barberina, so we got 1-1 here. Give me your thoughts on the fight because I thought it was an amazing fight, man.
Yeah, man, I think Robbie started really well, man, with pressuring and with hard shots, but Barberina, man, the volume is great, guy has a sick chin, and I feel like, remember when he came back from that almost death experience where he got surgery on his stomach, and he didn't look great against Jason Witt, and we are all like, this maybe a little bit on the decline. But then coming back, man, and 3 wins. And I think a great win against Matt Brown, which was close, a split decision. But now against Lawler, he finished him in the second round. And you see his cardio was great, at a certain moment, Robbie was kind of gassed, I think. Robbie's getting older, So, and Barberina kept going forward. Beautiful volume striking, a lot of punches, combinations. And then finally, the fight got stopped. I think amazing performance by Barberina. And, man, listen, man, I love Lawler. I love Barberina as well. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Barberina is such a good guy. Amazing performance. I'm happy both guys got fight of the night. And it was like you called it as well, fight of the night. This one probably. These guys never. These guys always perform. They always show up. If Lawler fights, it will be spectacular, unless he fights like a really good ground fighter and they keep taking him down. But it doesn't happen often. And Barberina, same thing. If he fights and you go stand and bang with him, you have a great fight. So amazing fight, loved it. Shout out to both guys. Thanks for a great fight.
Yeah, man, he did really good. Let's get some comments here, guys. I want Barberina and D-Rod. D-Rod did an interview with James Lynch this week. It was really cool, actually. They played some video games and were like having a drink and they talked. He wants to fight Randy Brown or Kevin Holland. So those are the 2 guys he wants. What's up, Marcus? I know you were there, Marcus. He was at the card. Brian Barber's our favorite money line pick. And I know, Marcus, you're a pretty big high roller there, Marcus. So congratulations, my friend. George, what's up, man? Another guy had a big night. I saw his tweets. This guy wants some good money. Best recap show in the business. My friend, we appreciate that. I know Marcel appreciates it as well. Yeah, Barberina actually called out Santiago Ponzinibbio. Yeah, that's the fight he said, or Luque, a rematch. Both fights make sense for me. I'm fine with either one. Actually, I think Ponzinibbio versus Barberina is a great fight. Marcel, 2 guys that will stand and trade and probably not shoot a takedown. So I'm fine with that fight. Let's get to the opening fight of the card. Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munoz, no contest due to an eye poke. There's a lot to talk about this one. We'll just kind of make it quick, I guess. Because really, I mean, there was no winner or loser in this fight on paper. First round, I thought Pedro Munoz won the round, guys. And 2 of the judges actually thought that too. One judge gave to O'Malley, and then second round, it seemed like O'Malley was kind of taking over the second half of the round, but we didn't see it play out, so who knows? But it probably was going to be 1-1 at that point. I mean, most likely, and like I predicted, O'Malley by decision. I think it was looking good, but again, the eye poke, the groin kicks, he kind of fought a little dirty last night, a little reckless. I'm not saying he's a dirty fighter. Just last night, he had his fingers extended a lot. I just don't understand after the fight now, all these fans are shitting on Pedro Munoz saying he's a quitter and stuff. This guy is a warrior. He's never been finished in his career. He stands and trades in the pocket. He's won so many fight of the nights, Marcel. He's been in so many wars, this guy, and now he's scared to fight. It makes no sense. So the fans that are saying that are just assholes, in my opinion. The guy's a warrior. I believe that he was compromised, Marcel, because, again, Marcel, he arguably was winning the fight. So, why would he want out of the fight? If he was losing, I would get that. The argument, right? But for me, it was probably tied at that point, and he had a chance to win that third round and win the fight. So why would he want out and not get his win bonus potentially? It doesn't make sense, or even get a knockout of the night or something, or perform fight of the night, whatever. I think they run it back, but I don't know. I mean, because honestly, it wasn't a very good fight for as long as it was, Marcel. The fight kind of sucked, but maybe they run it back just because we didn't really get any closure in this fight. So just give me your thoughts on it, because I honestly, Marcel, I thought O'Malley looked pretty bad in this fight, to be honest with you.
It wasn't a great fight, man. First round. lot of leg kicks from Pedro Munoz. That's pretty much what happened. O'Malley, I think he landed 2 or 3 good strikes in that round. 2 judges went with Munoz, went with O'Malley in the first round. Second round, I think Sean looked a little bit better, but still not amazing, Then the eye poke, yeah. What can you say? Listen, man, people want to say he wanted a way out, but we don't know, We will never know. And Pedro Munoz is not the guy who wants a way out, definitely not if he's likely winning the first round. So for me, it's kind of weird, that people think that. But I feel like there are many new fans coming into the sport when O'Malley came, and I always refer to them as a bunch of 14-year-olds who are complaining about everything, So, I mean, can we see the rematch? I honestly hope not. I don't think it was a great fight until that point even, Let's match O'Malley with a guy like Adrian Yanez. I want to see that fight. I know the UFC is not going to do that, but let's do that. Pedro Munoz, tough guy, but he's also kind of on the decline, man. We have to be honest, and still managed to win probably the first round against O'Malley on 2 judges' scorecards. It's not a good look for O'Malley, in my opinion. So overall. And also the celebrating afterward, man. What the hell, weird.
I don't know, man.
Not a great fight. The card the pay-per-view started off shitty and it ended shitty. You know what I mean? So, yeah. What can you say? What we talked too long about this fight. It wasn't a great fight.
I know.
Let's move on.
The pay-per-view was like a hamburger, right? Like the buns are kind of boring, and then in the middle with the meat, was delicious, right? It was so good. That beef was delicious. All I see is Black's eyes were closed. I mean, I don't think he could open them because he got poked really deep. Like, I mean, you've seen the pictures, Marcel. He was in there. Where's my fingers?
People underestimate the eye pokes, man. I don't know if you never listen, man. I had a piece of cardboard in my eye once, a small piece, but I wasn't able to touch my eye for 5 years. That's how bad I had. I had how do you say that? A small cut in my eye, but I know it's different. This is not a piece of cardboard; this is a finger, But still, the nail can be sharp. You know what I mean? So you don't know for sure. So for us to say like he's overreacting or he's like he want a way out, that's too much to me. You know what I mean? So we don't know. We simply don't know. We got to give him the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion.
Tweet scientists, UFC will treat us like a win for Sean and move on. They might. They could. They might. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm really curious how the rankings look.
Time for the UFC to stop being O'Malley and his fans. I kind of agree with that too. I don't think the rankings should change. I mean, there was no winner or loser in the fight.
Agree,
so why would
let's see what they're going to do. Let's see what they're going to do. Yeah.
I feel like the duck points more if they don't have their fingers up. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think the ref could have taken a point in this situation. But the thing is, if he does, it's probably a DQ then, right? So
yeah, Adam.
Yeah.
The main event, Adesanya. The whole damn time he was like this.
I know. I know.
Herb Dean said one time.
I know.
One time he said something, but the whole damn time. And I know it's his style. And people will say like he should close his fist. But if you ever had that UFC glove on, it's just painful to keep your fist like this for 25 minutes because it's not very stretchy. You know what I mean? They should change those gloves, man, in my opinion.
We've talked about that before as well. All right, let's get to the prelims here, guys. Jalen Turner, another incredible performance. I really liked him in this fight. Marcel just destroyed him. Destroyed Brad Riddell, guys. 45 seconds. The guy's the real deal. If you're not on the Jalen Turner bandwagon by now, you're missing out. I mean, the guy's 5 straight finishes now. Top 15 ranked now, I believe, after being Riddell. Marcel, he deserves a top 10 guy. Hopefully gets him. I don't think many people will be lining up to fight this guy, though. He's so dangerous everywhere. Drops Brad Riddell and then submits him, Marcel. So incredible performance by this guy. I'm a huge fan. I think he's ridiculously good. He's super young too. He's only 27 years old. So give me your thoughts on Jalen Turner because I thought he looked phenomenal again.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset with the comments I read on Twitter after the fight. They are like, "Oh, he's a weight bully." Listen, guys, he's big, I know, but he cuts the weight and he makes the weight. He never failed to make weight in the UFC, so we can't argue about that, in my opinion. He looked great against Brad Riddell. He even made Brad Riddell shoot on him. I mean, who expected that? And he took the guillotine immediately. I think 42 seconds. Yeah, amazing finish, man. And I think we both picked Turner in this fight, so we did well.
Yeah.
I mean, Turner, he's good. He really is. I think I really love to see him. And I don't know, do we have to see him against a ranked guy? I know he will be probably ranked at 14, but we saw Damir Ismagulov, Kutat Elatse 2 weeks ago or last week. Those guys deserve a ranking as well. That's how stacked 155 is, And I would love to see him against Damir, for example, but Damir is not ranked. If you get somebody ranked, I'm cool with it as well, so many options for him. Amazing win.
The problem with this stupid division, the rankings right now, is you have Conor McGregor and Dan Hooker ranked.
Get them out.
Get them out of the rankings. Like
Ferguson as well, to be honest.
And at least he's staying active. I'm going to say that. Yeah. At least he's been active, even though he's been losing. Right? But Conor hasn't fought in this division in a while now. In a year, sorry. And then he only has one win in the division in like the last 6 years. And then Dan Hooker fought his last fight at 145. And I thought when you take a fight in another weight class, you get out of the rankings. That's what I thought. So this is kind of weird to me because I think a guy like Kutatawadze and Ismagulov should be ranked, Marcel. So we'll see who they match him up with next. But I'm very excited to see what they do with this guy. I really like him, man. I like Turner a lot, dude. He's really good. Turner 155 be a problem. I agree. Missed the Jalen bandwagon on the mark. He thought was going to miss it again. I mean, dude, same. I mean, I missed it in the last fight too because I thought the durability, but I mean, he's really good. There's no doubt. Brower shoots when he's hurt. Yeah, he does, and it cost him in this one. I mean, that was nasty. Do you think Damir should be ranked 15? I think he's very competitive with these fights, so I can see why he's still in. But I'm kind of with that. I think they should take him out. Max at 155. We talked about this, and we don't like it. We've tried it a few years ago, and I think you should stay at 145. Just unranked McGregor is more appealing than 10. It's more number 10 McGregor. Yeah, I know. I agree completely. Like, why it just doesn't look good. Like the number 10 ranked guy, like headlining a pay-per-view. Like, I'd rather just take him out. Who was the ref in the Gary fight? I can't remember, but I mean, he did grab the fence a few times. We'll talk about that in a second here. Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone. Marcel. Jim Miller gets the second round submission. Honestly, Marcel, if I knew Donald was going to retire after this fight, I probably wouldn't have picked him. I mean, honestly, not a good pick on our part. It was just one of those things where, like, I just thought, he had a chance to get it done, but he didn't. Jim Miller gets the submission. I don't know why he didn't get a bonus. I mean, they gave it to all the finishers, but not Jim Miller. It makes no sense. I guess it's because he just signed a contract. By the way, he signed a 4-fight contract extension. I don't know if you saw that. So maybe they gave him some bonus money just from the contract extension. But, I mean, it was another amazing performance by Miller, Marcel. Most wins at all time in the UFC with 24 wins. And Cerrone retires. So any thoughts on this fight quickly?
Yeah, man. I mean, how crazy is it when you are landing the head kick, but the other opponent snatches the guillotine,
Yep.
It was a fun fight, I think. Both guys, both veterans, and in my opinion, both legends of the game, man. Mainstay is too too disrespectful to say.
Oh, no, they're legends. They're legends.
Yeah, they're legends.
They'll both be in the Hall of Fame one day for sure.
100%. Although Daniel Cormier said no. But
he said that? What?
On the pre-fight during the weigh-ins, they were talking about Jim Miller, and they asked him, like, should he be in the Hall of Fame? He said, no, absolutely not. He was never been a champion or whatever. And then Laura Sanko, I think, said, like, yeah, but he has the most fights in UFC history and the most wins. That's something special.
Obviously he's going in.
And DC said, like, yeah, but he was never at the top echelon of the division, so he shouldn't be. So, yeah, whatever. I think he should. It's amazing. It was an amazing fight, a good win for Jim Miller and for Cowboy. I just want to thank him for amazing fights. I've been a huge fan. I think many people have been a huge fan of this guy for a long, long time. Since the WEC, he always came to fight. He's like when you say you call Big Mount with Kevin Holland, he's like Cowboy, the original guy. Called him, and he showed up at events to fight. So for me, Cowboy is absolute legend, and he should be in the Hall of Fame sometime. But all the best to Donald, man, and thank you for amazing fights.
Man, it's kind of crazy how fast the years go by sometimes. Like, I remember when he made his debut, when he used to be in WEC, and he made his debut. Was it 126, I believe? Fought Paul Kelly, I want to say. Was that his debut?
In the UFC, right?
Yeah, in the UFC. I mean, I'm right. So he won fight of the night for that fight. And he's had such an amazing career. It's just crazy how fast the time goes by, Marcel. It's crazy. Like, I'm probably closer to 40 now than I was, than I am to 30 at this point. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy, Marcel. It's kind of scary. Because I remember when he was just a young guy coming up, Marcel, when he used to be dating, like, Brittany Palmer. You know what I mean?
I remember.
Like, I remember, like, this guy was, like, the man. Like, and all of a sudden, he's got kids. He's older. He's retired now. It's just, the years go by so fast, guys. Sometimes you just blink and it's gone, So I've enjoyed the shit out of his career. He's been an incredible warrior, but it was time to hang it up. I'm really glad he hung them up, Marcel. But I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if he fought again. As crazy as it sounds. I wouldn't surprise me, guys. It wouldn't surprise me. We see MMA retirements don't last very long all the time. Cowboy, I know, obviously very emotional. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's got, like I said, kids. He's got the movies and everything. But he is a warrior at heart, Marcel. And would it really shock you, Marcel, if he did fight one more time in the future?
No, he's the kind of guy that right now we probably isn't motivated to fight anymore, But it's gonna get itching again, probably.
I think so.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get some more comments. Miller and Ferguson is a great fight. I would love to see that fight. I hope Lawler, Barbie, and Miller Cowboy sign in the Legends division. I mean, that sounds good to me. I'm good with that. Let's see here. I mean, RDA should also be in the Hall of Fame. He's another amazing fighter. Like I know these guys aren't like the biggest, like, quote unquote names, but that doesn't matter. They're getting the results done. So Jim Miller's, I was just doing some math. He signed a 4-fight extension, 12 pay-per-views a year. That would make it UFC 300 in July 2024. So I think he will fight on that card and then call it a career. I think that's the plan. So he signed the 4 fights, 2 fights a year until then. I can see Joanna coming back for Cerrone. I think Joanna could fight again as well, but I think she's checked out for now because of just the way she lost, and also she seems to just be enjoying her life. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like,
she got multiple businesses going on, man, in Poland, and she wants to become a mom as well. So I think she's taking some time off now. Definitely,
she wants to become a mom. Is she? Yeah. She's married or no?
I don't know, but she wants to become a mom. She said that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good for her. I mean, whoever ends up being the daddy is a lucky guy for sure. Joanna's great. I mean, we all love Joanna. All right, let's go to the next one here. Speaking of a daddy, Marcel, Mr. Ian Gary Machado, with the new name. I was confused for a second. I'm like, who? But he's married now too. He's got a kid coming, so I mean, a lot going on in this guy's life as well. Marcel, young guy too. He's just really good. I think Marcel. I like this guy. I think he's so technical too. Like, he might be the most technical striker in this division, which is crazy to say because there's so many good strikers. But I thought he looked good in this fight. He got a knockdown as well. Gabe Green's a tough dude, got right back up. It wasn't the best fight, obviously, Marcel, but I was still impressed by just the technique that this guy has, how clean his punches are, 1-2 straight down the pipe. I like the guy, Marcel. Honestly, I do like him. I think he's good in the mic as well. He's got a lot of confidence. Again, he's only 24 years old. There's a lot to like about Ian Gary. It'd be nice to see him get more finishes in the UFC, but I think he's fighting some pretty tough dudes, to be honest with you. So I'm curious to see who they give him next. Like, maybe they give him a top 15 guy, but he seems to be like wanting to take the slow road up the ladder. So I don't know. But I know a lot of people don't like this guy. I actually do like him, Marcel. I don't know what your thoughts are on Ian Gary.
It's actually funny to me that you say he's good on the mic. I think I was happy that he didn't get an interview because
he didn't after that. Yeah, because they're running out of time, right? On ABC.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of him on the mic, but I think he's a good fighter. He's very technical, and in my opinion, this is the first time in his 3 fights in the UFC that I was really like, I can see why everybody's so high on him. I saw him in Cage Warriors as well, but it's still a kind of a different kind of level, in my opinion. And now in the UFC, his first 2 fights, I think against Darian Weeks wasn't amazing, but was good enough, And the first fight against Williams, he had difficulties in the beginning, but he finished the fight in the end of the first round. But right now was kind of a complete performance, man. He looked good. He was quicker than Gabe Green everywhere. Super clean with his striking, looked good. A real good performance, I think, from Ian Gary. So, looking forward to what's next for him. The best striker or the best technical striker in the division goes a little bit far for me because I'm not sure about that. But maybe you're right, but we'll see in the future. But definitely his best performance so far in the UFC, in my opinion.
I just wonder if he's going to take some time off because he's got his kid coming in a few months. I mean, he has probably the chance to take some time off because he's a professional athlete. So while he's young and in his, he's not even reached his prime, but I'm just saying, like, financially, Marcel, like, unlike a guy like us normal people, we still have to work. You know what I mean? This guy might be able to take a little bit of time off to spend with his family. So maybe he comes back at the end of the year instead. Maybe not in a few months. But I think he'll fight one more time before the end of the year. Gary looks good, but he's hittable. I'd like to see him against Chaos Williams. That would be a good fight. That actually would be a good fight. Gary looked better to me than Jackson. Oh, for sure. The Darian Weeks fight was probably his worst of the 3. Boxing rights with Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson's a pretty good fighter too, 145, underrated guy. Next fight, Marcel Dricus Duplessis against Brad Tavares. Honestly, excuse me. I think this was fight of the night before Lawler and Barberina. This fight was incredible. And my guy Duplessis, Marcel, that was my best fight of the week. Gets the job done, guys. We both said last week, bet on him if you can, especially at plus money. And by the end of the week, he was a decent sized favorite. But I hopped on early. I mean, the guy is really good. I'm just surprised, Marcel, that he was the guy who lost the first round, then won the second and third. I thought it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how good this guy fights when he's tired, right? Brad Tavares, Marcel, I think at this point we can say, Marcel, he's getting up there a little bit now and with the damage, But that first round, he had Dricus on roller skates multiple times in that first round. He came back, and Du Plessis won the second and third, won the fight. Easy fight to score. Great performance. Give your thoughts on this one quickly.
Easy fight to score unless for one media outlet. But, I feel like always when Brett Tavares is on the verge of going out of the top 15, he manages to win the third round and at the fight, At this time, not. He won the first round. He looked good in the first round. Du Plessis was super wild, I think. But despite also having cardio issues, Du Plessis looked good in the second and third round, and he won those 2 rounds. And it's big to win a third round against Tavares because mostly that's the deciding round where he wins the fights normally if it goes to decision. So good win for Du Plessis. He will be in the rankings when new rankings come out. There are many fights for him to make. So I'm looking forward to it.
I agree. Du Plessis though kept coming forward. I mean, it was impressive. Benitez, Imov, Dricus, Pereira, the new ranked middleweights. Yeah, the division's going through a change, which is nice. Killcliff FC, that's the new name for Sanford MMA. We can't call it Sanford MMA anymore, which is weird. I don't really like this new name, but it's a sponsor. Du Plessis looked better as the fight went on. I'm curious to see if they match him up with next. I mean, he's really good. I think you call out Gastelum. He wants that fight still, so I'm fine with that. This guy's saying, do you like remember that heavyweight card 146? Do you like with the middleweights? I'm fine with that. It'd be cool. Or so you think why the early prelims are in Eurosports? I don't know.
Yeah, I can tell them. And there's a deal for like the main cards,
Yeah.
And the last 2 hours of the prelims. And only at fight night, I think at fight night right now they also have all the prelims,
Yeah.
But for a pay-per-view, the early prelims are on Fight Pass over here.
Right on. The UFC banned fighters are bringing the country's flag to the octagon. I don't know, but I don't think I noticed anything last night, so maybe something happened there. A couple fights quick. We'll go through them, Marcel. We got a few minutes before we start the next podcast. Andre Benitez defeats Uriah Hall. I got to say this, Uriah Hall's takedown, or not his takedown defense, his submission defense was extremely good in this fight. Like, really, Benitez had dominant ground control for 3 rounds and couldn't really get any good sub attempts off. So while he won the fight clearly, I was actually kind of impressed by Hall's defense. But Benitez by decision was like plus 500. So you took that. That was a good bet, especially against guys that have been sub before. Benitez is great. We all know that. And this was a good test he passed. I'm curious to see matched up with next as well. You could do him against Du Plessis. I mean, I don't hate that fight if they do it. It'd be a good fight, but they might just keep on separate paths because they're both kind of newer guys. But, Benitez is in his 30s. It's not like he's super young, Marcel, So, anyways, quick thoughts on this guy because obviously he's very good.
I mean, solid win. We all knew if it went to the ground, probably Muniz,
Mm-hmm.
But Muniz, I expect him to get a finish. He didn't get it with defense from Hall. So not anything more to say. Just a good win for Muniz.
Agreed. Macy Barber defeats Jess Guy by decision, and Jess Guy retires. This fight, Marcel, was this the worst fight in the card? It probably was, right?
It was because Jessica I only tried to cage pressure.
What was she
Macy
thinking?
Barber
What kind of game plan was this? Tell me about the game plan.
And people scored a second round for
I did as well. 2 of the judges did as well, Marcel. I listen, like, I'm just going to explain why. I actually had a tweet written up about 4 minutes in saying, okay, well, she's not done any damage and just pushing her against the fence. But at the end of the round, she got a dominant position on the ground. She got like half guard and was laying some elbows on the ground. That's why I gave it to her, but I can see why you gave it to Barber. So I just wanted to say that quickly. Go ahead.
Okay. But overall, win for Barber. The first and third round were definitely hers. So, good win. And let's be honest, man, Barber really smart from her. When Casey O'Neill pulled out of the fight with an injury, she immediately said, give me that fight. And she's probably now in the top 10 of the flyweight division, with winning over Ice. So really smart move by Macy Barber. And she looks solid, I still think that she will have problems with the girls who are higher in the division. But there was a good win. And for Ice, she retired. Listen, man, people were sitting on Jessica I, but we got to give her respect, man. She has been in battles as well through her career. I remember her defeating Zola Frosto in Bellator when Frosto was champion. That was a non-title fight, by the way, but that was a quick win back then. And she had some wars in the UFC as well, so got to give her credit for it. So yeah,
that's
thanks.
What I'm saying, like the years go by so quick. Like I remember when she made her debut in the UFC. I remember her fights in the UFC, like all of them. You know what I mean? I remember she got head kicked by Valentina. Like I know what you're saying. I remember her Bellator run, Marcel. Like it's crazy. The years go by so quick, Marcel, and then it's over. You know, these fighters' careers aren't that long, guys. You know what I mean? Like I think she made a good decision calling it quits. Because honestly, Marcel, 4 straight losses, she probably would have been cut. So she saves kind of face a little bit too by retiring instead of being cut. You know, which I respect.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, get some comments here. We only have a few minutes left on this one. More great matchmaking. Okay, News TV can win us up. I agree. The matchmaking is really good in the UFC. I think Turner and Baum, I think they're both 6'3", if I'm not mistaken. Do you think Jessica will make? No, Marcus. No, not even close. Marcus, no. Come on. That's what DC should have been saying. You're crazy, Marcus. You're crazy. Jessica's not even close. I don't even know if her record's 500. I know there's like Maurice Smith doesn't have a 500 record. I get that, but no, like she's not even a legend. Like I've at women's MMA. I'd call her a mainstay, just like Felice Herrig last week, right, Marcel? Like,
yeah.
No offense, Marcus. Love you, but not even close, buddy. Last fight of the night, Julia Stoliarenko gets her first UFC win. Marcel against Jessica Rose Clark. Great way to start off the card with a 42-second submission.
Damn, dude.
I'm like, holy shit, this card's gonna be amazing. And then it was just like after that for the last couple some of the fights, but great performance by her. Marcel gets the win.
It's actually funny. Like the prelim started with a banger and ended with a banger, and the main card started with a shit fight and ended with a shit fight. So, yeah, I mean, great win for Stoliarenko and a much needed one. She was 0-4 in the UFC, and Jessie just pretty much fall for the only really threat that Julia always has, and that's going to the armbar, you know. And it was a nasty armbar, dude. It was a nasty one.
I think her elbow's like dislocated or something, or it broke. Yeah. Maybe I don't know what happened. She's in a cast now, so it didn't look good.
She bended like Beckham, man. It was like, it was crazy. And for Jessica Rose Clark, man, I'm afraid they might cut her. I wouldn't be surprised. I would hate it to see it because I think she's a fan favorite. But those last 2 fights, they weren't good. And the fight before that against Jocelyn Edwards, it wasn't also a great fight. So I don't know. But maybe give her another one. They gave Stoliarenko with 0-4 another one. So you never know.
I see, Marcus. I see your comments in there. I'm just messing with you, man. You know you're one of our favorites too. But yeah. All right, cool. So I think that's it for 276, Marcel. Just really quick, is there anything else you want to talk about from this card? Was there anything else we forgot to mention?
No, maybe a good rundown. The performance of the night bonuses went to Stoliarenko, to Turner, and to Alex Pereira, and the fight of the night went to Barberina against Lawler.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, let's quickly shift gears. We only have like a minute left here, 2 minutes to talk about PFL 6, Marcel. Just really quick. I don't know if you were able to catch the card. But I did watch some of the fights. I watched like some of the last couple of fights on it. So we'll just go through those quickly, Marcel. Kayla Harrison, another easy win. You know what, Marcel? I was looking at the props. Kayla Harrison by TK was plus 100. I mean, that just seemed like easy money to me. I do think the stoppage was a little early, but, you know, come on. Caitlin Young is just – the fight was a joke. I mean, come on.
Free money.
Yeah, it was. Someone bet $2.7 million to win $100K. Everyone's saying they're crazy, and I get it, but they won $100K, so like they're doing better than us.
Yeah, but if you have 2.7 million, you probably don't give a fuck about
exactly. You can afford to lose it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Rory McDonald lost Marcel against Sadabusi. It was a horrible performance by him. He looked awful in this fight, the worst he's ever looked, in my opinion. And I don't know if you caught the fight, Marcel, but it was terrible to watch. It was a bad fight. Ray Cooper wins against Brett Cooper, which was a joke of a fight, and he doesn't get in the playoffs. The same with Magomed Karamov, Marcel. Neither guy makes the playoffs, but Sadabusi isn't, which is crazy. Larissa Pacheco had a great win. Magomed Umalatov, your guy, Marcel. I think he's in. He's in the playoffs because he had a first-round knockout. He looked great in this fight. You saw that knockout, right? That was really brutal. Flew the guy across the octagon. And then there was a couple of women's fights here. I know one of them had a funky scorecard. Marina Martin there. Yeah.
Carlos Leal got in the playoffs without fighting.
Crazy. I'm glad he's in. He deserves it.
Yeah, me too. Oh, 100%.
He beat Ray Cooper, and he should have been in the whole time.
Yeah.
Last comment we're going to take, thoughts on Gamrot and Dariush. Dana White mentioned they want to do this fight. I think it's a great fight. It makes sense. Go ahead.
So I tweeted when PFL posted like Carlos Leal is back in the tournament. I quote tweeted with the way it always should have been. You know, and PFL liked that tweet. I was like, oh, you think the same? Okay.
I know. I tweeted something about it too, and they also liked it, saying like he's got a walkover win and he's in automatically. All right, I think that's it for this podcast. We're going to start the next one up here, guys. You're going to be previewing UFC Vegas 58. Looking forward to that. So we're going to start a new podcast in a second here. Just plug yourself, Marcel, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, it's still Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram, and it's Eurosport.nl and the Mixed Martial Arts section for my articles.
There you go. Okay, guys. Twitter at @MMartin, as you guys know. Podcast MMAOBsBigger.com. Like, share, subscribe. I never tell you guys that, but you got to do it because we want to get more people listening. I know there's a little bit more viewership lately, which is good. I think we have a good product here. It's fun to do. Love it. The Sundays podcast. You also find me at MiamiNews.com, Bookies.com. Did really well with my best bets this week, which was good to see. And also, I want to plug that podcast I did with Elliot Marshall, the Gospel of Fire podcast, which was really cool. Got the chance to talk to the former UFC fighter in that podcast, which was cool. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to start the next podcast in a minute. Just hang on to the channel and wait for that.